It's Saturday, April 15, 2023. I am Daniel Blake, and welcome to Sports Talk. So good that you could join me on this lovely Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning, depending on where you are, or Saturday evening. Truly appreciate the support week in, week out. As I love to remind you, there are many different ways that you can listen to the show, so you don't have any excuse. Well, you have excuses, but if you say, boy, I never know how to listen, then you don't have any excuse. Remember, on your radio, the old fashioned way, 101.1 all the way to 101.9 on the FM band if you are in Jamaica. If you are in Jamaica and also overseas, you can go on the internet browser, love101.org, and listen live there. You can also download the Love FM app, whichever smart device that you have. Go in the Google Play or Apple Store and you download it there. Or if you'd like to see what's going on and see, I'm looking all right today. But if you want to see that, YouTube and Facebook, I am live right there right now, Love 101 FM's pages. So thank you in advance for joining me, and for those who are joined on those different platforms, I truly appreciate your support. And as always, you know that I love to hear from you throughout the show. So 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. That is our WhatsApp number. So feel free to message me and I will ensure that those are read. Or if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, the comment section is there, so feel free to do that as well. And today our main topic is basketball, because two major things happening. The NBA playoffs have begun. They start this weekend, and one match is already in progress. That is the 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets. That is already underway. So I'll read out those full playoff fixtures and everything, because this year it's very tight. There's no runaway winner, especially with the Lakers sneaking in. So it's going to be fantastic. Also, our own National Basketball League right here in Jamaica, it returns after a 4-year hiatus, because it was last held in 2019. So it returns, and we will hear from President of the Jamaica Basketball Association, Paulton Gordon, on all the plans and everything. And by the way, after the 1:15 break, we're going to be talking to Shanelli Ann Reynolds. She is a Golden State Warriors fan and sports fanatic in general. Remember the Golden State Warriors, believe it or not, sometimes people forget, but the Warriors are the defending champions. So we'll be talking to her about her team, how she's feeling heading into the postseason, and some other NBA issues. So, gonna have a great show today. Yeah, we're going to have a great show. And once again, 876-997-3125. That's our WhatsApp number. So feel free to message me. Or if you are on YouTube and Facebook, Angela Hackett, Delarica Myers, Pauline Brown, Kevard Thompson already sending in their greetings. Thank you so much. And my very, very astute Carifta reporter, Nicole, saying blessings. By the way, my monologue will be about Carifta, which happens very shortly. So before I get into my monologue, let's start with the sports bits, which is a mini sports report, right? And my bias is going to show here, because I'm going to start with cricket, because Wolmer's boys were crowned Issa Grace Shield champions after beating St. Jago High in the final by an innings and 192 runs on Thursday at Melbourne Oval. An innings and 192 runs. That Woo-wee. Batting first, St. Jago were bowled out for 111, with Wilmers replying with 372 for 9 declared, and captain Justin Beckford making an impressive 166. The Wolmerians then bowled out St. Jago for just 69 to take the win. The boys from Hero Circle will play rural area champions St. Elizabeth Technical States in the All-Ireland Spalding Cup playoff next week in Santa Cruz. So congratulations to Wilmers Agriculture Geese for life. Meanwhile, Jamaican and West Indies cricket legend Courtney Walsh was removed from his role as West Indies women's coach this week. Cricket West Indies on Tuesday announced its decision not to renew the contract of Walsh, along with his assistant coaches Jamaican Robert Samuels and Corey Collymore. Walsh, who took the role in October of 2020, had a losing percentage as coach with just 11 wins in 32 one-day matches and just 7 wins in 24 T20 matches. While disappointed with the timing, Walsh says there are no hard feelings and he would be willing to help in another capacity. Now, two-time Olympic double sprint champion Elaine Thompson-Hera began her 200 meters campaign on Friday with a 23.23 second clocking for second at the Tom Jones Invitational Meet in Florida. USA's Melissa Jefferson won the event in 23.02. It was Thompson-Hera's fourth race of the season and her first since running the 400-meter event on March 18 at the John Wilmer Speed Fest. St. Lucia's Julian Alfred clocked the fastest time in the world this year when she won the 200-meter college event in 21.91 seconds, while world 200-meter champion Noah Lyles opened his season by clocking 20.16 to win the men's 200 meters. Day 2 is currently underway and several Jamaicans have already competed and will compete throughout the rest of the afternoon. Now, the Reggae Boys will play many-time defending champions USA in Group A of the CONCACAF Gold Cup this summer. It will be the first time since 1993 that Jamaica will face the Americans in Group Play, a group that they would both advance from and progress to the semi-finals if they finish in the top two. Nicaragua and the winner of a preliminary round playoff rounds up Group A. The Gold Cup kicks off on June 24, and the Reggae Boys have made the final twice but have never won the tournament. And finally, the young Reggae Girls began their under-20 women's CONCACAF preliminary campaign with a 6-0 victory over Anguilla on Friday. They are now tied with Honduras in their group, who beat Bermuda, but the Reggae Girls lead with a better goal difference. Jamaica will play Bermuda in their second group game on Sunday, and only the group winners will advance to the CONCACAF Under-20 Women's Championship. That was your sports bits for this afternoon. It is now time for this.
Connection established. It's time for Daniel's weekly monologue.
I'm Ariel Brown Blake.
I'm Dave Blake.
I'm Hope Blake.
I'm David Blake.
And it's time for the Danielog.
The Danielog.
The Danielog.
The Danielog.
I will love it. And I think I deserve it.
So character games ended on Monday. Jamaica dominating as usual, 78 medals. 40 gold, 22 silver, and 16 bronze. But for those who were watching, listening, reading the stories that came out from the championship, it wasn't the most organized. The officiating was extremely poor, in my opinion, even though the Bahamians will tell you differently. There were some false starts that weren't actually false starts. There were false starts that weren't giving us false starts. There were a lot of disqualifications, a whole lot of mix-ups. There was just so much that went wrong. And then you had Jamaican fans who were watching saying that Jamaica should boycott the next Carifta and Carifta going forward because we always go and dominate. It's really nothing for our athletes. because we are so superior, this and that. And that has been a narrative in the past, especially after seeing Bouaji and Krumi, who got injured in the under 2100 meters, and people are saying he didn't need to go to Carifta because he has a brighter future ahead of him this season, and going forward, Carifta is a waste of time. I just want to let people know this before they go around and saying Jamaica should boycott Carifta games going forward. Was Carifta a mess officiating wise and those things? Yeah, it was. But I don't think people understand the importance of Carifta to the athletes. I have friends and colleagues who competed at the Carifta games. My wife also competed at the Carifta games, but in swimming. And my wife right now isn't a professional athlete. She did that when she was a child, basically, or early teen years. And she didn't go on to be a professional athlete, and that isn't because she couldn't have made it professional. It's just that she wanted to do other things with her life. If you ask, well, you would be surprised to know how many people, like walking around, you will just walk past people who have competed at the Carifta games, whether it is swimming or track and field. Not all of these athletes will go on and be professional athletes, like in the future, these student athletes. For a lot of our young Jamaicans who went to Bahamas and have gone to different countries over the years, for a lot of them, is the first time, some of them even going on a plane. And I'm not saying that to make it sound away or anything like that. It's just a reality. And if you ask the athletes who went to Bahamas this year, and if you ask maybe 98% of the athletes who have competed at a Carifta games, they will tell you it was one of, or is one of their most memorable parts of their life, or lives, I should say. To go to a Caribbean country, to stay in a nice hotel, that, first of all, that's amazing. But secondly, do you know how important it is for them to compete for their country? A lot of these athletes won't, as I mentioned earlier, won't go on and represent at the senior level. They might just go to college, get a scholarship, and decide to do something else, like the hundreds, if not thousands, of athletes have done in the past. But the mere fact that they can say that they represented Jamaica and then beat up athletes from Trinidad, Barbados, Bahamas, Guyana, whichever country it is, that gives them a sense of pride. And it's funny because these same people will talk about, in other instances where we aren't patriotic enough and whatever, where these athletes who weren't forced to compete at Carifta trials and weren't forced to go to these games want to willingly compete for their country and bring back gold for their country. You saw a lot of their celebrations. Even, I don't, who exactly was it again? My brain kind of short right now. But he was like shushing the Bahamas crowd, like, and pointing to the Jamaica flag and, the Jamaica logo and everything, because he just won a title representing his country. So before you, and I know it's not a lot of you, but before you say that Jamaica must stick to champs because champs is superior to Carifta and all these things, just remember that Carifta isn't for you. I hate to say it, but Carifta is not for you. Carifta is for the athletes. So if the athletes themselves, who won't say it, but let's say that they did say them don't want to go again, then fine. But they willingly want to go. They want to get these experiences, and most of all, they just want to represent their country. So please don't bother coming no more boycott argument. Please. 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 And then it's funny because on the same one we say, oh, Jamaica will win 78 medals and enough gold medal. Anyways, that's my monologue for today. Hope that I didn't stir up any pot like that. But after the break, we'll be talking some basketball, the NBA, to be exact. So stay tuned right here on the family station, Love 101. This is Sports Talk.
Kingston Healing Crusade. Kingston Healing Crusade. Cloven Tongues of Fire Ministry, in association with Behold the Lord Cometh Assemble, invites you to our Kingston Healing Crusade on April 17 to 23rd, 2023 at the Elliston Primary and Infant School off Renward Road. Time 5 p.m. daily. Please bring the sick people to Jesus the Healer, the blind, the deaf, the dumb, paralyzed, barren, and poor. Jesus will heal them all. Jesus is Lord.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Specifically for motorcycle riders, we will be making 10,000 helmets available free of cost. There is a short training course that motorcycle riders go through when they are getting licensed. The helmets will be available there. The idea is to save lives. And where is this coming from now? How are we going to pay for this? The fines that we have collected, we are going to use it to ensure that we improve the safety of the road users.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Here's an invitation for churches and community organizations. If you're hosting an event which offers free admission, tell us about it and we'll get the word out in Love FM's bulletin board. Simply email your information to bulletinboard@love101.org. Love FM's bulletin board for church and community events with free admission and certain fundraising events. Conditions apply. Listen to Bulletin Board on Love 101 Saturdays at 4:55 p.m. Love FM's bulletin board is on your family station, Love 101.
You're listening to Love 101 FM, a family station. 101.1, 101.3, 101.5, 101.7, 101.9. Love is all you need.
This is Asafa Powell, one of the fastest men in the world, and you're listening to Love 101, your family station.
It's 1:20 right here in Jamaica. Thank you so much for staying with us inside Sports Talk. Like I mentioned, the NBA is at the part where everybody really gets excited. Yes, a lot of people get excited for the regular season because, I should actually talk about that one day, because to get into the playoffs, you need to be excited for the regular season. But some people have made it seem like the regular season isn't important. But this year, the regular season has proven to be extremely exciting, and it is why we have the NBA playoffs that is extremely unpredictable. It's going to be an excellent time. And the defending champions, the Golden State Warriors, a lot of people might not even be thinking about them in terms of them going on to win the title again. So it's gonna be extremely interesting because we do have the Milwaukee Bucks, we have the 76ers who feel that they have a shot. You have the Denver Nuggets, the Memphis Grizzlies, Boston Celtics, which is also a favorite to get out in the East. But then you have the Lakers, for example, who people truly wrote off at one point. I think after they went with, they got 2 wins after just 12 games. People thought, hey, them not even going to make the playoffs. And now people are thinking, oh, well, they could go on and do something. But we're going to focus on the defending champions, the Golden State Warriors, a little bit because they are the defending champions. And it would be good to hear from a diehard fan, a fanatic, and we think that there's nobody better than Chanelian Reynolds. She is the CEO of By Any Means Digitally, which specializes in graphic design and social media marketing. But most importantly, as I mentioned, she is a Golden State Warriors fan and a sports fanatic. And I'm going to add her to the stream right now. Good afternoon, Chanelian. Welcome to the show.
Hi, afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Okay, great. First of all, I love that you're in your Warriors attire.
Yes, I had to bring out my Warriors.
Lovely. But because a lot of NBA fans think that a lot of Warriors fans are, just come, like my father, excuse me. But how did you, or when did you start supporting the Warriors?
From 2013, 2014, because of Steph.
Because of Steph. All right, great answer. At least you never start in 2015. But even if you started in 2015, that doesn't matter. So throughout the regular season, you guys had one of the best home records. With I believe 33 wins, but your away record was poor. But in terms of everything that you've seen in the regular season, how would you sum up the team's performance?
Yeah, as you said, we had a horrible road record. It was 11-30. I don't know what happened. I think that probably OBL was on the road because it just didn't make sense. But our overall record was 44-38. We finished the season pretty strong. We finished 8-2, and we won on the road, so that's good heading into the postseason. But considering Steph missed 27 games and Wiggins missed 45 games, the 44-38 regular season was understandable. Clay had a hell of a season. Steph had a hell of a season. Clay turned it around after the All-Star break, averaging 22 points per game. Steph averaged 29 points per game, and Poole averaged 20 points per game. So we're going to need all that in the postseason. And it's the first time a trio of guards is actually averaging 20 plus points per game in a regular season. So
Yeah, you sound pretty optimistic heading into the playoffs, but the whole Draymond Green Jordan Poole incident happened at the start, and then as you mentioned, there were injuries and so forth. Do you think that sort of messed up momentum, and do you think that will probably affect you guys heading into the series against the Kings?
well, at the beginning of the season, I'd say yes. It probably did mess up the momentum, but we're past that. We're long past that. It won't affect us in the postseason at all. I doubt it will.
So you definitely believe that you are getting past the Kings, who have been one of the best teams in the NBA this season.
Okay, the Kings has the highest offensive rating in NBA history. So, and they're the only team in the West with a winning record on the road. And it's the
Yes.
first time they're in the playoffs for, in what, 16, 17 years? So you
Mhm.
know they're going to come with the energy and their fans going to come with the energy. So it's going to be tough for Warrior. It's going to be tough. But I believe that Steph, Dre, and Clay, we trust to get past them in the first round. We're just going to have to be a force on the defense, guard Herder, who is shooting 40%, and Keegan Murray shooting 41%, and Sabonis, who lives in the paints. Yeah, we're gonna have to step it up on our defensive end. But I'm glad that we're getting Wiggins back because he's been a major
Mhm.
force on our defense.
And you don't think that your former assistant coach Mike Brown have
Yes,
anything up in his sleeve?
yes, and that's the thing too, Mike Brown. Nobody knows Warriors better than Mike Brown in the whole playoffs. So I'm definitely wondering because he knows our plays, he knows what we're going to come with. So I'm wondering about that. But as I said, instead of Clay and Dre, we trust. Dubs in 5.
Five. Wow. In five. All right. So if you're confident about getting by the Kings, do you think that you'll be back not only in the Western Conference finals, but also in the NBA finals?
It's going to be a tough path. It's going to be a tough path. Sorry, Pat. Second round, if we get past the first round, we're going to have to face Lakers or Memphis. Oh my God. That's going to be a dreaded matchup for me, whichever team it is, because last year we beat Memphis. So, this year they're going to come with a vengeance. You have Ja talking, you have Dylan talking, you have everybody pushing it as a rivalry. So, that's my most feared matchup, the second round matchup if we get past the first round. And then we're gonna have to deal with we might have to deal with Denver or Suns. KD and Booker and Chris Paul on the same team. When they announced that trade, I was like, wow, what is this?
Like the entire NBA, because that it just doesn't seem fair. But hoping that somebody stops them. In terms of the East, who do you think is probably the most likely to get to the finals?
Okay, I'm gonna say Celtics.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say Celtics.
You want
My
that
heart is
rematch?
saying my heart is saying Celtics, but okay, my heart saying Celtics, but my mind is saying Bucks because Bucks have home court advantage this season, which they didn't have last season, and we saw what happened in Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
So if Middleton comes back as well, because he's dealing with some injury, but if he comes back as well, Bucks is gonna give Boston a run for their money this season to get to come out of the East. That should be a pretty good matchup, but I have either one of them coming out of the East.
Yeah, the playoffs this year is extremely exciting. In terms of all the players that you have seen so far, I know that the top three candidates for the MVP have been announced: Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic. Out of those three, who do you think um, deserves it the most for MVP of the regular season?
It's Embiid. I
Mm,
have to go with Embiid. I mean, Joker is amazing. Joker averaged 24 points per game, 11 rebound, 9 assists, and he's the first player ever to average these numbers on 50% field goal percentage. So it's definitely tough, but Embiid Sixers went 11-5 without him, went 43-23 with him. He averaged 33 points per game, most 50-point games in a season by a center since Kareem. And he was the first in points per goal. Yeah, he's a scoring champ. He was a
mhm.
scoring champ for this season. So I definitely say Embiid. And Giannis is an alien. Giannis is the best player on the best team. So he's in it as well. But because I would say Giannis has a better overall team than Philly. So I would give it to Embiid.
All right. So finally, what would be your I guess, dream scenario at the end of June when everything is over?
Steph holding the trophy, number five, Steph, Clay, and Dre. Yeah, number five. That would definitely be based on how this season has been and how it started, and it's been a really tough season. It hasn't been. It's one of our worst seasons with injuries and the road record and everything. So for us to overcome all of that and win and Steph get number five, that would definitely be amazing. Like I wouldn't a five and it's over.
I didn't expect a different answer at all. Well, Chanel, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, if the Warriors win, you'll be back. Well, even if them don't win, we'd love to have you back. But thank you for giving us your time and enjoy the playoffs.
Thank you. Enjoy the playoffs, and thank you for having me. Until next time.
All right. Take care. That was Chanel Ann Reynolds. As you, for those who are watching on YouTube and Facebook, you saw her in her Warriors attire. She's a Golden State Warriors fan and a sports fanatic in general. And as I mentioned, the Golden State Warriors, they play the Sacramento Kings in the first round. So let me just read those matchups that are going on. By the way, right now the 76ers and Nets are playing. So right now, so don't bother change the dial right now. Go watch a match. Just wait till 2 o'clock. All right. So the 76ers and Nets are playing right now. The Bucks and the Heat winning that that playing game. So the Bucks will take on the Heat. The Cavaliers will play the New York Knicks, and the Boston Celtics will play the Atlanta Hawks. That's in the Eastern Conference. In the Western Conference, the Denver Nuggets will take on the Minnesota Timberwolves, who won their playing game. The Memphis Grizzlies, the number 2 seed, will play the Los Angeles Lakers. That should be absolutely epic. The Phoenix Suns, as Chanel mentioned, with Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, they will play Paul George and Kawhi Leonard of the Los Angeles Clippers, and the Sacramento Kings will hope to fend off Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins. That's really a super team of the Golden State Warriors. So that those are the NBA matchups in the playoffs. So we are going to truly have a great one. We'll talk a little bit more about the playoffs a little later on, but right after this break, we'll be joined by Jamaica Basketball Association President Paulton Gordon, because our very own National Basketball League returns. So we'll hear more about that right after this.
When your shipments need to be there fast, it's simple. Choose DHL. With locations in over 220 countries worldwide, we are the #1 trusted express shipping company, here to help you share a piece of yard abroad. With over 50 years of experience, we provide competitive rates and daily discounts on shipments large and small. Get peace of mind knowing that your package is in safe hands and will get where it's going in time. From Jamaica to the world, DHL. Excellence simply delivered. Visit any DHL location island-wide to start shipping today.
Jamaica, taste it all. Yeah, well crispy fried chicken, please.
Yeah, with Pepsi.
2 orders of spicy jerk pork.
Yeah, with Pepsi.
Give me some cheesy patties.
Yeah, with Pepsi.
Hey, can I get extra curry gravy?
Yeah, with Pepsi.
Make me some fried escovitch fish.
Yeah, with Pepsi.
Taste it all. Yeah, with Pepsi.
Pepsi.
There's certain moments in life you'll cherish forever. Like buying your first car, stepping into your first home, sending your child to university, starting that business you've always dreamed of. These are your great moments, and helping you achieve them is ours. Call Chris and Charles today. We have a loan for all the great moments in your life. Powering great moments since 1992. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Educom does it again with the mega car loan sale. 100% financing, interest rate of 6.95% and up to 10 years to repay. Hurry now and visit any of our 9 branches. Call Educom at 876-926-6973 or WhatsApp 876-559-7575 for more info. Educom Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Value through service.
Baltimore Church of God, Barbara Avenue, Edgewater Music Department presents a benefit concert dubbed Rhythm and Praise, Friday, April 28th at 6:30 p.m. Hear the ministry of Petra Kay, Ryan Davis, John Mark Wiggins, Travell Cart Wine, and many more. MC Dexter Johnson. Admission 2,000 free sold, 2,500 at the gate. Get your tickets at MB's Pharmacy on Hadley Park Road, Monarch Pharmacy in Portmore, and Portmore Church of God. Sponsored by CB Group, High Low Food Stores, P&S Events and Vacations, Love 101, and Jamaica Youth for Christ.
Hi, I'm Shelly Ann Fraser Price, and you're listening to Love FM, the family station.
You're listening to Love 101 FM, a family station.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here, as we mentioned on the family station, Love 101. In that previous segment, we heard from Shanelli Ann as she spoke about the Warriors and some other topics in regards to the NBA playoffs. Just some quick shout outs here. Rose from Hampton saying good afternoon. Getting a greeting from Henley Stone in Redwood. Carolyn saying Bucks and Celtics will be epic in the East. Love me some Warriors. Let's see what they'll pull off, rooting for them all the way. So we have spoken about the NBA playoffs, but our own National Basketball League is set to return very, very shortly. And to talk about that, we have President of the Jamaica Basketball Association, Paulton Gordon. Sir Paulton, thank you so much for joining.
Yes, hi. How are you?
I am good, even better knowing that the NBL returns in just a matter of weeks. Let's start with how difficult it has been to restart the competition, because this has been a competition that has been on and off over the last decade due to sponsorship issues and several other things. So how difficult has the ride been to get it started this year?
Well, as you can recall, we actually started in 2019, 2020. We started, and then
the pandemic.
I think 6 weeks into the competition, then the pandemic hit.
Yes.
And so that was truncated. So that was disappointing because, as you rightly said, there were no tournaments 3 or 4 years prior to that, and that was seen as part of the rebirth. So we have cleared that hurdle, and we are, well, the subsequent 2 years we had issues because of COVID, but we were able to get a fair amount of basketball activities back on track over the last year or so, including the school league, the summer camp, the many summer camp, the KFC summer camp, the jump ball camp, the one at Treasure Beach. And then we had the partnership with
Elite One.
The E1 guys out of Toronto, which really created an opportunity for our local players to play consistently over the last year. So the pool of players that we have who are still interested in basketball have been very active over the last year and a half. So we thought it was an opportune time to get back the NBL on track, to complement what is happening in the other areas.
I remember the last time we spoke, it was probably a few weeks before the Winter League of the Elite One. You had said that, you'd be willing to partner with Wayne in terms of having an NBL with Elite One. Is that going to come to fruition this year, or will it just be strictly Jabba that will be running the NBL?
It was a Jabba. It's really a Jabba league this time around. I know we're in discussions with Wayne to have the fall league, and there's a showcase in the summer, a 6 or 7 day showcase, which should probably happen in the middle of the NBL. And that showcase might have a few overseas players, as a part of that mix. So, in terms of the calendar, his next main event will be the fall league, which should start sometime in October, and the showcase, which it is early August, which is a shortened version, which he'll be doing in Montego Bay. He'll be doing in Montego Bay. So that's where we are in terms of that. So we're on track in terms of the calendar, and we're happy with where we are.
So how many teams have shown interest in entering the National Basketball League? Because those numbers have also fluctuated over the years, but as you mentioned, there have been excitement from the players and coaches. So how many teams should we expect at the upcoming NBL?
We have settled on 10 teams. The last time we attempted the NBL, we had 12 teams. We reached out to all 12 teams, but only 10 teams are in a position at this stage to participate in the NBL. We are comfortable with that in terms of the rebuilding again. So we're actually okay with that. So the vast majority of the teams will be from Kingston and St. Catherine, as you know, that's the hub of basketball. So we have a central team which comprises players from Manchester and Clarendon mainly, and we have a team cluster somewhere in Montego Bay with some Trelawney Montego Bay players. So those are the 10 teams that will participate this year.
And you mentioned about that central parish and in Mobe and Trelawney. In terms of hosting games in those areas, are there suitable venues, or even I would say affordable venues that you can use so that matches can be played and fans in those regions will be able to watch?
Well, the vast majority of the games will be played at the stadium complex, both indoor and outdoor. We'll have some games in Montego Bay at the Montego Bay Cricket Club. We're still trying to look at a central venue somewhere in Manchester or Clarendon where we can play a few of the games. But we want to ensure it's spectator friendly. So we're looking at that, and we want to play a few exhibition games. Well, exhibition and official games at Buckfield in St. Anne in Ocherus, because we see that as an opportunity to reignite interest in the sport and that part of the world.
In terms of the expenses or this year for the NBL, how, if you don't really have a general figure, but how will you able to be, sort of offset this? Will have sponsors shown interest, or will it mostly be out of Jabba's pockets?
We pretty much have secured 3 partners already for this activity, and we are pursuing 2 more. But we have the basic resources required to execute this event. We want to top up and add on a few things that we have discussed, which might be, dependent on whether or not we're able to raise those additional resources, then we will add those layers. But we are reasonably comfortable where we are in terms of resources. As I said, we have pretty much tied on 3 sponsors. We'll hear a little bit more about where we are in another few weeks, because we want to start rolling out some of the things that we want to do prior to the competition, which will start very last week in May.
You did mention it will start at the very last week in May. How long do you expect the competition to run? Because I know that it is a pretty tight calendar this year.
we're looking at about 3.5 months. So the last week in May until about late August, early September.
Okay, good. In terms of national coach Rick Turner, I know a few years ago he was really excited when the NBL returned because he had loved how the local talent were performing. How involved will he be in terms of scouting or possibly even planning on job as part in the running of the NBL?
Well, at this stage, what happens is there's a cohort of local players who train periodically at the stadium court and under the watchful eye of Coach Ron Robbins. As you know, Rick Turner is based in Seattle, so he's not typically here. But so his support persons assist in that regard. So most of these players, as you rightly said, will be involved in the NBL, and they'll be monitored by the coaching staff and our technical people as possibilities for our national team.
And finally, as you mentioned, a lot of things to be rolled out in the next few weeks in terms of the media and the general public. What do you hope to, I guess, achieve in these next few weeks so that we do have a successful NBL?
What I want to ensure is that the general public gets reconnected to the players and the team, showcasing the team a little bit more in training, just profiling the players so that there's some level of intimacy between the community, the team, and the general populace. So that's one of the objectives of what we want to do over the next few weeks. So really just to showcase the players, showcase the team, get the general public more familiar with them as a part of creating a momentum to get going.
And as always, that we here are huge supporters of Jamaican basketball and the NBL. So over the next few weeks, wishing you all the best and can't wait to hear what you roll out in the next few weeks.
I appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to your support.
No problem. That was Paulton Gordon, president of the Jamaica Basketball Association, talking about the much anticipated return of the National Basketball League, which he says will begin around the last week of May. If I was a little more talented than I am right now, I'd compete in the NBL. God has given me a lot of talents, but basketball, I'm not bad because I did play business house basketball. I wasn't a starter, but I did score a few points, had a couple assists and rebounds. Nothing special though, nothing special. My team did make the final of Division 1, but trust me, they would have done it without me. I can tell you that they would have done it without me. But it's going to be absolutely fantastic this year, knowing that COVID is no longer an issue. By the way, COVID still exists, but not on the wide scale where it's forcing stoppages of sporting events and so forth. So at the end of May, the competition will start. So over the next few weeks, when we get information from JABA, we will ensure that you all get it because I know that you would want to go out and support local sports as well. By the way, I want to give away some tickets for the Jamaica Premier League. Monday night, there are going to be 2 games. So I'm going to give away some tickets. So if you want some tickets for the Jamaica Premier League Monday night matches, let me know. Well, I can tell you how you can win them right after this break. So you're still inside Sports Talk here on the family station, Love 101. So stay tuned.
Okay, get ready for an inspiring time inside Love in the Morning with me, your host, Jakal Dyer. This Monday, April 17, 5:30 a.m. is Becoming You, a feature that shares tips on how to become the best version of who you are. Then, grab your cup of coffee and start the day right with Morning Coffee Pick Me Up Devotional. 8:30 a.m. inside The Healthy Way, we discuss jaundice. 9:30 a.m. is Something More, brought to you by the Faith Cathedral Deliverance Center. Stick and stay with us. This Pick Me Up Monday inside Love in the Morning, 5 to 10 a.m. on the family station, Love 101. Celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love. So come get inspired.
Coming up inside Campus Connection, the power of prayers in schools, the Caribbean edition. Is prayer still relevant in our schools? Should students have the right to be exempted from devotional activities that go against their beliefs? Join us Tuesday, April 18 at 5:30 p.m. right here on Love 101 as we speak with the experts who will help us to better understand the effects of prayer on campuses. That's Campus Connection, Tuesday, April 18th at 5:30 p.m. on the family station, Love 101.
Here's an invitation for churches and community organizations. If you're hosting an event which offers free admission, tell us about it and we'll get the word out in Love FM's bulletin board. Simply email your information to bulletinboard@love101.org. Love FM's bulletin board for church and community events with free admission and certain fundraising events. Conditions apply. Listen to Bulletin Board on Love 101 Saturdays at 4:55 p.m. Love FM's Bulletin Board is on your family station, Love 101.
101.1, 101.3, 101.5, 101.7, 101.9. Love is all you need.
We have just around 7 minutes to go before we have to leave here on Sports Talk on this basketball edition, but not because it's basketball edition means that we can't talk about other things. And by the way, as I said before the break, courtesy of the Jamaica Premier League, we have some tickets. So, as usual, the Jamaica Premier League, they have their Monday night matches. Arnett Gardens, who potentially could go top of the table, they play Dunby Holden at 5. And then Tivoli Gardens and Waterhouse, two former champions, going head-to-head at 7:30. So, if you want some tickets, let me know right now, 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. And I'm going to make an answer no question or anything like that. If you want tickets, free tickets to go to those matches at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex on Monday, just let me know. Just tell me. And I will the giveaway is something today. I'm making us sweat and then have to feel sorry for you and give you a next question or no. If you want the tickets, you can get it. By the way, Carolyn, Paulton Gordon, president of the Jamaica Basketball Association, has notified us because other leagues apart from the National Basketball League have been going on, including the Community Basketball League, that's the SDF Makati Community Basketball League. There are several games that are happening tonight. Well, later this evening at Edgewater, there will be a game. Well, 2 games, Wolverines versus Papine and Link Up versus Michael. That's for the people over there in St. Catherine. And in Kingston at Exed, that's Excelsior, Panthers will play Harborview and Exed will play Majesty. And then if you can't make those games, then on Monday, at Michael, you have Michael versus Grandspen and Papine versus CMU at 6 and 7:45. Also at 6 and 7:45 at Calabar, Exed will play Helsha and CBA will play Panthers. So, no excuse not to see some local basketball. Sister Gladys saying, big up Daniel, your school mash up the thing. That's Wilmot's boys in Grey Shield. It's my grandson's school too. Lovely. So you have a good grandson. your grandson, when you say it's my grandson's school too, you mean your grandson play on the team or they just go Wilmers? Well, actually, it don't really matter. Because once you're a Wilmerian, you're a Wilmerian, and that's all that matters, right? So, as I mentioned, want to hurry up now? Sure, we have some tickets to give away. So if you truly want those tickets, messaging no 876-997-3125, 876-997-3125. I heard myself. I sounded slightly aggressive a while ago. My apologies. It's just that I don't want to not get the tickets. By the way, big up Deandra. Deandra do always listen, so I feel very, very special that Deandra has tuned in. And thank you again to Angela Delarica, Pauline, Kevar for sending in their greetings. And Nicole, I never read this message earlier, saying I think this is in regards to my monologue where you said, at what expense to go to Carifta and end up injured, while pen relays you have a lot of scouts for students, much better. I get what you're saying, but then again, nobody not forcing the athletes to compete at Carifta, and injuries, you can't predict injuries, so nobody expected Nkrumah to get injured, and scouts are also at Carifta because Carifta is more widespread than pen relays, and by that I mean the best talent from the Caribbean is at Carifta games, right? Whereas pen relays is not every school from the Caribbean will be there, just a handful from outside of the Jamaican schools. There would just be a handful of schools from across the Caribbean. And to be very honest, if you are a scout, your main thing is to be at champs. Not saying that we should discredit the importance of the pen relays, because we know that a lot of people have gotten contracts from pen relays. I mean, scholarship, it will be contracts, scholarships from the pen relays. But you most times you only see an athlete run like one leg. Whereas at Champs and Carifta, you will see these athletes running individual events or jumping or throwing. So, so that's in response to that. And by the way, let me just update you on the Philadelphia versus Brooklyn Nets game. Computer moves so slow, and so we're almost at the end of the third quarter, and the 76ers they lead 93-81. Joel Embiid and James Harden, they both have 20 points so far. Mikal Bridges of the Brooklyn Nets, he leads with 25 points. Cam Johnson has 18. So if it stays like this, which it won't, but if the 76ers keep their lead, they will go 1-0 up in the series. Later on at 2:30, the Boston Celtics, they play the Atlanta Hawks. At 5 p.m., the Cleveland Cavaliers play the Knicks, and then Chenalians Warriors will play the Sacramento Kings. Those are all game one matchups, just reminding you. Then on Sunday, the Memphis Grizzlies, they play the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis at 2. The Milwaukee Bucks play the Heat at 4:30. The Suns play the Clippers at 7 p.m. And then at 9:30, the Denver Nuggets play the Minnesota Timberwolves. So that is it for Sports Talk today on the Family Station Love 101. Thank you to everyone who sent in their messages, their greetings, and stayed with me throughout, even if you never send your messages. It truly means a lot that you spent your Saturday afternoon listening to me. As always, Sports Talk happens every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Please enjoy your weekend, stay safe, and as always, watch some sports.